Welcome to our Thailand Cybersecurity Seminar called the Thailand Cyber Market, a gateway to Singapore cyber solutions. Fundamentally, what we want to do is to add value to you, and events like this allow us to not only reach out to many of you who are interested to know more about the Thailand market, but more importantly, to help you see value on how your organization and you can truly thrive in this marketplace. So my name is Raj. I'll be your MC for this particular seminar. I'm with SG Tech and the internationalization team. We run our cyber export programs together. And one of the wonderful things that we've been doing together, and some of you are already past witnesses of our success, is our cybersecurity business missions. And as part of bringing our cybersecurity companies to another country to internationalize and find the opportunities, we are also doing cybersecurity seminars for you to understand a bit better. So we would like to thank our partners, Cyber SG TIG Collaboration Center, for hosting us today here. And it's an honor for me to start our session by inviting someone who's very prominent, someone that all of you may know very well, and who's significantly accredited in this particular space. He's none other than Mr. Ken So, the chair of our cybersecurity chapter in SG Tech, as well as the CEO of Athena Dynamics. And before I officially bring him here, I thought it's best for all of us to just get to know him a bit better, things that he has been doing. So Mr. Ken So actually holds concurrent appointments as the Group CIO of PH Global since 3rd March 2014, and of course the founding CEO of the award-winning cybersecurity consulting company Athena Dynamics since 15 July 2014. Despite that, I don't see any white hair on him, which means he really knows how to handle stress very well. And it really speaks about his performance. And he is also the chair of our cybersecurity chapter. And SG Tech itself is a 41-year-old technology trade association in Singapore. So I don't think any of us are strangers to SG Tech. We all know it's a trade association dealing with technology firms like all of you. And Mr. Ken So has been an avid industry thought leader and a speaker and a writer, and has contributed hundreds of thought leadership speaking engagements and papers in industry conferences, press, and media. He holds a Master of Science in Computer Studies AI with a distinction award from the University of Essex and a Master of Business Administration from the Nanyang Technological University of Singapore, a joint program between the Nanyang Business School of NTU and University of California, Berkeley. So without further ado, let's invite Mr. Ken So to give his opening remarks.
Wow, thanks so much for such a generous introduction. So welcome today in the Cyber SG TIG. You all know what is TIG? American Talents Innovation.
Yes, because it never select.
Content is very much.
So now you can move.
Okay. So this
This might be
interesting. So TIG, today's context is under the G portion, the growth. So as we know, Singapore is such a tiny red dot, right? The only dot between Pacific and Indian Ocean. So all the while we've been doing like hub-based status. So that's the way we connect to the world. That's the way we export our services. And this G portion, I think SG Tech has been. So sometimes I call SG Tech like nuclear plant. With the group of people can do so many things, you know. So I think like Cesare just came back from Tech last week, and they even have SG Tech Pavilion in Gulfware as well, right? So almost every week there are activities. So if you're not in SG Tech yet, do consider company based, yeah. And if you join them, I always say SG Tech is like a network to networks, yeah. Just like Thailand today is only one of the countries. They are connected to the region, I think 26 countries, right? Via APEC and all those, yeah. So when they connect to a country, it's not just an entity in a country. They are connected to the trade association. So imagine what I meant by network. So it's not about you knowing people, but being known as well, right? So if you're not in yet, please contact SG Tech Secretariat. They are all here. You can explore what you can do with them. Yeah. So today, I think later Kenny will present to you the inroads into Thailand, what are the things that he can advise, and also the pitfall that you can look at. After which we have plenary, which I'm very humbled to be invited to moderate. So I'm thinking I'm probably in the right role to moderate because I haven't got any success in Thailand. So that's why I'm a moderator. And I have a lot to learn from him as well. So I think without further ado, thanks a lot. Thanks for coming here today. I hope it'll be a good learning experience for you. Thank you.
Thank you. So to kickstart our program, I'll be inviting our consultant for this particular business mission. And again, during the networking session, please feel free to ask him as many questions as you can of Thailand as well as our upcoming cybersecurity business mission. So Mr. Kenny Lim is our Managing Director of Golden Eye Corp, and he holds an astounding career in the private banking space as well as connecting businesses, partnerships, institutions together. So this wonderful friend of mine actually has been a private banker at Morgan Stanley previously. He worked with ultra high net worth individuals. Later on, he went to play a significant role in the development and market entry or expansion of wine investments into Thailand and the rest of Southeast Asia. So if any of you all want to go for good wine, you know where to find him. As the Managing Director of Golden Eye Corp, he's also primarily responsible for the development and expansion of the company's core business functions, which looks into helping companies like you expand and truly deepen your outreach and engagement within each particular country. While he has worked across the field with many different institutions, he is here with us in his capacity to deliver this particular business mission. And he'll be presenting on some of the sectoral opportunities and areas of engagement that we can come with together. Thanks. So without further ado, I think let's welcome Mr. Kenny.
Okay, so I'll try to keep this a bit less formal. So I think the first question that you all might have is, what's this guy with a banking background, wine investment background doing here with a cybersecurity talk? So maybe just to bridge the knowledge gap a little bit, I'm actually not staying in Singapore. I'm staying in Bangkok for the past 4.5 years. So in my capacity in these positions, I was given the chance to network a lot, especially during COVID. So with this comes a lot of connections within Thailand. We've found I'm pretty good at maneuvering the scene within Thailand. And then also I'm able to share a bit more insights about Thailand itself. So anytime you have any questions later about Thailand, yeah, please bombard me with questions. But let me just introduce my company. So basically, Golden Eye, the core business is to help companies expand into Thailand. Yeah, but we also try to provide other comprehensive services, like for example, marketing, legal, accounting, basically any services that you need in Thailand. Yeah, we can do so. So also some good things to note will be we are also featured on Enterprise Singapore as a service provider, Thailand. And we're also the award winner for S&P 500 and also the BIS Awards. Yeah. So regarding my company, we also are quite connected within the Thailand scene. So if any one of you here has been to Thailand before for networking events, you probably would know the Singapore Thai Chamber of Commerce, or you all could have heard of Rotary Club or the Singapore Club of Thailand. Yeah, so basically me and partners, we take up very key positions within these networks. We are very well connected within the Singapore community in Thailand. Yeah. So in terms of our reachability, it's pretty decent. So maybe I'll just go deeper into why people have been recently looking into Thailand. So personally for myself, in my previous capacity, I was asked to start operations in Thailand from scratch for the wine investment company because they saw the potential, especially the geographical position of Thailand, and also post-COVID, where Southeast Asia has become the prime spot to expand into. So Thailand is actually situated right in the middle of this entire playing ground. Yeah. Secondly, I think all of us know, right, when we go to Thailand for holidays, you always comment everything is very cheap. So in fact, when it comes to running businesses, things are also very cheap for businesses. So personally, for myself, if you want to compare my business operation cost with business operations cost in Singapore, it will be at least 70% cheaper. Yeah, so that's a very, very good advantage, especially with today's inflationary environment. And lastly, which is a bit more relevant to today's theme, the digital economy is actually expanding. So I'll touch a bit more on this later on. Yeah. So there is this index called the Global Security Index, where it measures the country's ability to support digital growth in the cybersecurity space. So if you see over here, Thailand has almost the perfect score. So the metric is over 100. So Thailand's getting 99.22. So for Singapore is actually scored 99.68. So we're actually not far behind. So I think this is quite a surprising fact, because a lot of people might think that, hey, maybe Thailand's a bit more backwards because it's a third world country. Yeah. So even when I discovered upon this piece of information, I was very, very impressed. Secondly, there's a very, very big push in terms of the cybersecurity space for Thailand from 2020 to 2024. So 2020, they were placed 44th position in the entire world for the readiness to adapt cybersecurity. But as of today, it's actually ranked 7th in the world. So that's a huge jump. And next, what everyone is forecasting is that in the next 5 years, the cybersecurity space will be poised to double the size, almost double the size like by 2029. So there's a huge market up there. So these are some of the statistics that I think will be quite useful for you. And of course, on the wider scale, on the more macro space, the government is really pushing to push this cybersecurity space wider. So even in institutions like Chulalongkorn, like King Mongkut, they're also introducing courses for the young people to pick up related to cybersecurity. And also there's a lot of new training certifications coming up, just for them to be more visible on the scene. So there's even a push from government. Besides, even the government is funding like board of investments, these bigger companies, if they were to adapt all these cybersecurity readiness measures. So you can see positioning wise, Thailand is going up. There's also strong support from government. So probably more relevant sectors for you to benefit from the grounds will be in Bangkok, we are seeing these 3 sectors really benefiting with relation to you. So the first sector, which I'm extremely familiar with, is the banking sector. So from the ground, because of my previous capacity, I've been asked to do a lot of collaboration speeches for banks in Singapore. So every month, different banks will fly in, and then they will try to conduct talks, for the clients, because they're trying to penetrate the market. So reason that they quoted is Singapore is overbanked. They want to explore new territories. So Thailand seems to be right. So with this, there's also more banks setting up smaller entities within Thailand, and indirectly will be pushing for the cybersecurity demand. So that's for banks from my personal capacity. So second, cryptocurrency and blockchain. So I don't know whether you all already know, but Thailand is poised to become the next leader of crypto in Southeast Asia. So it's a very, very big thing there. Even the youngsters aged between 18 onwards, they're all trading cryptocurrencies. And of course, all these deals with personal data, all right. So the demand for cybersecurity also comes in. And lastly, EV markets. So although in Asia, I would say China is the biggest, but within Southeast Asia, for sure, Thailand will be the leaders within Southeast Asia. So what's happening right now is there's a lot of oversupply of EVs within China. And because of the proximity to China, they're just bordering each other, right? A lot of them are flowing into Southeast Asia for now. So for example, if you all probably know of BYD, BYD also recently set up operations in Thailand. There's also one more called Chang'an. So these 3 sectors are really the hottest sector, which I think will be more relevant to all. So maybe just to boost a bit more about credibility, we are also very well connected, not only within the Singapore community, but also Thai community. So for example, some partners that we work with quite closely the Thai FinTech Association, Ministry of Digital Economy, UOB FinLab, Kasikorn FinLab, more banks, yeah, you name it. So in the past few years, we've tried to pull connections from both sides, from the Singapore side and also from the Thai side. So at this point, any questions? Okay, right. So now I'm going to a little bit, not say depressing, okay, the not so good thing, which is with every country, there's always regulations and frameworks to overcome. So these are some of the regulations that you will need to overcome if you ever decide to venture into Thailand. Yeah, which I think will be shared with you all. And also in general, there's also potential challenges. For example, setting up a company, that's the biggest headache. The admin processes are very, very tedious. There's a very strong language barrier. You need a lot of help to maneuver all this. And also the legal scenes are always changing. Yeah, and also indirectly related to the government. Yeah, so these are the main hurdles that a lot of people that we talk to from other countries always face when they want to incorporate Thailand. But the good news is my company, because our core business is to try to spoon feed entity in Thailand to you. So we try to corner everything to make life as easy as possible if we decide to expand into Thailand. Yeah, so don't have to worry about this. We offer a lot of services, but I think the most importantly is the needs analysis. So for example, regarding every client we talk to, we definitely need a needs analysis session because we want to find out your specific aims and your specific reasons for thinking of expanding to Thailand. So only with this, then I can put together several services from all this to curate a solution to you. So we do a lot of things, but we make sure that everything is curated to a single customer, including building and bridging connections to relevant partners. So that's all for my presentation so far. So I think any questions? Yeah, so any questions? I think we have a Q&A session later. Yeah, but I hope this was helpful for you. Yeah, so I'll pass it back to you.
So I think in the interest of time, we'll begin now with our panel discussion. Let's welcome firstly our moderator again, Mr. Kenny Swope, followed by Mr. Kenny Green. And then now I also want to introduce two of our other panelists, very distinguished and remarkable within their own fields as well. So first one joining us online actually is Miss Kwek Hong Sin. So Miss Kwek Hong Sin, sorry about that, is a co-founder, strategist, and global relationship officer with the ASEAN Chief Information Officer Association, ACIOA. If you have not heard of it, well, it's one of the most distinguished bodies looking to connect CIOs all across the ASEAN framework. And with over 15 years of experiences, she has founded Sin Watana Crowdfunding Corporation Limited in 2013, pioneering equity crowdfunding in Southeast Asia. And she has gone on actually to also be at the forefront of transforming the CIO landscape across ASEAN. Yeah, this is the panel. So she has actually gone to the forefront of transforming the CIO landscape across ASEAN, promoting digital innovation and fostering collaboration amongst business and government leaders. So again, a community builder in herself, Hong Sin. Hi to you from Singapore. Okay. And
hello, everybody.
And our next panelist is actually Mr. Priyesh Panchmatia. We'll be inviting him. He's the Director of Solutions Consulting in iSpring Innovations. So Priyesh has over 20 years of cybersecurity experience and is experienced in the implementation of multi-phase identity and access management projects for various global and regional banks and governments. He leads the solutions consulting team at iSpring Innovations, a global IAM and mobile app security software company. And their security solutions are designed to help clients address digital identity and mobile app protection challenges. The solutions have also been successfully deployed in many organizations with complex operations such as Citibank, UOB, OCBC, Bank of China, Bank of Communications, IRAS, GovTech, and many other financial service institutions, government agencies, and large corporations. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have a stellar panel of community builders bringing together CIOs, banks, cybersecurity, you name it, I think our panel has it. So without further ado, let's bring our panelists up to start their discussion. Please. We all matching the chairs. Okay, and we have Hong Sin as well. So
Thank you.
okay.
Hi, Martin, can you see us? The camera is shining.
I know, so there's another camera then.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just testing. Martin, you can hear us, right?
Yes, I can hear all of you. It's just that the audience is a little far, but it's okay. They can see me, I can see them by some images. Yeah.
Oh.
But it's okay. It's all right. Yeah.
Thanks, I know you were here last week in Gulfware.
Yes. I was manning the ASEAN CIO booth.
I
Yeah.
see. Okay, same
Yeah.
as me. Okay,
Sure.
So, yeah, and let's start the plenary. Well, today, I think there are a lot deeper content that we can touch on with Thailand. I myself have tried Thailand. It's to me, I mean, my personal experience is a little bit complex. Complex in a way that seems like cultural-wise, may not be so direct. There are some nuances and some actually, which is why we actually have That's right. So I think if you look at Thailand compared to Singapore, GDP-wise, they recovered so well on COVID. Numbers over 3 to 4%. We are about there as well now. Yeah, but of course, Singapore, you cannot compare population and size. I think population, just Bangkok alone is like times, right? Size is about 2 times Singapore. But you compare the whole Bangkok, it's like how many hundred times our size rate. Yeah. So I think without further ado, I think the first thing I'd like to learn more from Ken with regard to your mention of the 3 trends, right? Just now I can recall the first one is banking, second one is crypto, third one is oh wow, interesting. So maybe you can share with us a little bit more what are the trends and any opportunities from the perspective of cybersecurity.
Okay. So maybe I'll just start with the sector that I'm most familiar with, banking. So I think recent times you all probably are aware of like news about the banks starting their compliance because of frauds, money laundering, etc. So today's banking landscape, they're very, very focused on additional security for customers. Yeah. Which was happening, which is a very, very big headache to my banker friends. Yeah. So even in Thailand itself, the thing about Thai people is they tend to want to try new things very quickly. But the moment something bad happens, news back fast, they'll try to shun this trend totally. So when it comes to things like that, they have to make sure that they get their cybersecurity act together very, very quickly. So that's why there's a lot of strong emphasis and measures being put in place to make sure that while the government is trying to promote Thailand as the up-and-coming cybersecurity country in Southeast Asia, they need to make sure that everything is implemented very well. Yeah, so with that comes, like I told you earlier, there's more banks coming to Thailand. So with that, there's more demand. Yeah, and definitely much more opportunities for more players to come into the scene. Yeah. And of course, I think with all your knowledge, I'm sure you're much more knowledgeable about cybersecurity than me. I think your knowledge in this space is definitely very, very advanced, probably more advanced than current banking systems, some of them. Yeah, so for that, I see a lot of chance for your knowledge. So secondly, with regards to the crypto space, there has been several cases of frauds or scams in Thailand, and people are very well aware of it. But despite that, demand hasn't been for that. It's just that people are kind of lobbying for more protection. So before they sign up for any crypto programs, they have to make sure that, can you tell me what will happen if this goes wrong? That goes wrong. I don't want these things to repeat again. So if they are partnered with very reputable partners like some of you, then that'll be wonderful because that will give extra boost of confidence to the investors. And when they flock in, they really flock in huge numbers. And lastly, for the EV space, as of now, you only saw BYD in China. But based on the ground's amount of EV competition there, there's a lot more Chinese. It's more than hundreds actually. And they're coming in multiple numbers. It's just that BYD in China will actually quite fast. Yeah. So with each company comes in one form or one of them, they will just extend a lot.
So I reckon you're seeing this from a perspective of cyber protection policies.
Yep.
So now I naturally with a question for Yash is that now we have a macro view of things, maybe a little bit micro operational level entering into Thailand. Maybe you can share a bit more like very specific technologies or the adoption of all these technologies that we should be mindful of when we go to Thailand, what we focus on to make our venture more successful.
Okay. Okay, coming from my perspective, just to give the background. So, like mentioned earlier, we are basically a product company specializing in cybersecurity, specifically a space identity and access management or digital identity. And we also have staff in the mobile security space. And most of our clientele is in the financial industry, right? Of course, we do have some business in non-banking, government, and interestingly, I just want to off a bit. Thailand is big in automobile manufacturing. So, we do have clients in automobile manufacturing as well. I mean, these are again kind of a very interesting offshoot for us that we can get clients in that space because there's pretty a good number of manufacturing organizations out there, and it looks like they can invest in certain stuff that we do. But coming back to the technology part, right? So, I mean, I don't know, but sometimes we have biases like, whatever you are doing today, you are specialists in that area, right? Of whatever space of cybersecurity you're doing. But from my perspective, rather, I would say that 15, 20 years ago, maybe we would think that, Singapore, Hong Kong is a bit advanced, and then the rest of the region is a bit behind sometimes and so on. But now a lot of things that we do is linked to digital transformation, right? So like you was mentioning that there are banks like you mentioned, K-Bank, SCB, and so on. They're investing a lot in digital transformation, right? So what I've seen is that in the last 5, 6 years, you can't really say that, who's ahead, who's behind, and that kind of stuff, which means I would say 60 to 70% of the sector, it's kind of international grade, which means what sells in Singapore or what is bought in Singapore also is being bought and implemented. But interestingly, we are seeing new stuff that are projects that use newer technologies that we generally find it difficult to justify in Singapore in terms of, our clients sometimes don't want to invest because they think this is too new and, the market is not big enough and so on. We are seeing that kind of stuff, that leading edge technologies, actually we are pushed to innovate our products faster because of talent requirements. Because the population is big, it's 10 times more, right? The population. So even if they have a project and their captive market is, X percentage, it's much bigger than Singapore. Probably costs are lower in terms of application development. So they are willing to take the risk to have projects that need to use what you would say a bit of cutting edge or experimental or innovative stuff. So that's the difference I would say. Right? Having said that, yeah, there's always pockets of the market. There are always some plans that are a bit behind the curve, as in any market, they're like a bell curve. So yeah, there are always such kind of stuff. But for us, the learning curve was you can't assume that what works in Singapore, you can just bring it there. Yes, it will definitely work for most of the clientele, but you need to prepare to keep an eye on the, ear on the ground, as they say. Your senior management needs to go down and talk to clients there. And you'll be sometimes surprised that what they're asking for, nobody in Singapore asks for. In terms of technical requirements, they can be a bit ahead. They sometimes have a preference for standards. They'll ask you whether you are compliant with this or that and the kind of stuff. Doesn't mean that if you don't have it, they won't implement it, but it's always helpful. If you have built up a rapport with your clients, they do sometimes let you take time to build the prototypes or something like that. And that's a good thing. They do tend to trust Singapore companies in terms of our professionalism and capability to deliver on promises. So at least that's what will work for us. So we do have a pool of clients that ask us to sometimes do things which we don't have. And we commit to them that, look, we put it in part of our roadmap, and sometimes they wait, right? So that's kind of other thing. The other thing is that, be prepared. Of course, you got to go there and get your clients first if you don't have them and so on, right? So you need something to justify it. But for us, another learning curve was scalability, right? A typical project here could have X users, but something over there could have 10X easily, right? So if your products are not geared for it, you might face that hiccup or learning curve in the beginning, right? But having said that, you can't just sit in the lab and design your products without any clients in mind. You need to, it's a chicken and egg thing. You have to go out and get some business and then learn along the way.
Thanks, Piyush. So having heard of trend sector now tech adoption, Hong Sin, you can see us, right? Some question for you collectively, looking at these comments. Hence, what would be your recommendation in the perspective of critical success factors coming to Thailand as entry point?
Okay, hello everybody. Can you hear me? Just to make sure.
Yes, we can.
Okay, all right. So let me take 2 steps backward. In year 2005, actually, I started my journey building a distribution house in Thailand doing cybersecurity. So that is actually way back before, in fact, that was how I built my circles of connections as an entrepreneur as well. So in 2010, that's where I co-founded ASEAN Chief Information Officer Association with a large group of CIOs over here. So let me now take 2 steps forward and talk about factors contributing to entry of Thailand. When you set your mind to enter a country, whether if it's Thailand or Indonesia, so let me also just say that you got to be very clear why you are entering this market, not because somebody tell you so. It's simply because you know you want to get into the market and you've done enough homework to know why you're entering the market. So in year 2005, when I decide to enter the market is where I have already championed and done a fair bit of business in Singapore. Why? Because customers overseas will then ask, how is your home ground? How are you doing in your home ground? Before you can, they would like to hear some references. So at that point of time, the references that I have is actually Singapore government. And other than that are all the top-notch organizations that I serve. So in cybersecurity, being also one of the pioneers since I started in 2000 selling antiviruses, I have to say that if you are just one of the other, you have no differentiation, you're just fighting on price. It's gonna be very difficult everywhere, anywhere you go. Entering Thailand, the very first thing, if you talk about success factor for entry, it's really about the connections. Who do you associate with? Who do you work with? Who do you partner with? So for my own journey, I don't believe in proxy. I believe in transparency. I believe in being able to work with the clients without having to think too much about what if. So a few factors that the other rest of the speakers has actually already addressed, like language, the plus points of everything. The definition of cheap, actually Thailand, specifically Bangkok, is no longer that cheap. But because right now, Singapore dollars is very strong. So when you do the conversion, you may find it cheap. But if you really do the calculation and by staying here, Bangkok is no longer that cheap. Maybe, okay, cheap by a couple of dollars. And also that depends on where you spend your money. In the context of like regulations, Thailand is very, very, very focused on regulations, policies, standards. But again, in the context of cybersecurity, while there are certain standards, policies, the client, the C-suite, will still look at how is your solution compared to the rest. For example, in the case of like some of the typical American or Israeli vendors, are they in Gartner Quadrant? Are they in IDC report? So these are some of the conversation, but building strategic partnership is very key, meaning to say through SG Tech, Enterprise Singapore, they actually have different seats, different network where you can write on SG Tag to reach out to certain clients. I believe that quite a number of you have signed up for the January event. So I think SG Tech team is working really hard to establish the network for you all. And I think just now, gentlemen, Kenny mentioned about the three sectors, banking, EV, and gosh, one more. Again?
Crypto. Okay.
Crypto.
Oh, crypto. Honestly, while the country talks about, I mean, when come to policy, let me also remind you all, when come to policy, Thailand is always the first to be the one that come with policies. But when come to execution, it's very different. So I'm not going to give you a lot of promises that, oh, the pasture is greener over here. No, but in terms of what Prayush mentioned, like the size or the opportunity in this market is definitely way bigger as compared to the size of Singapore. But the other factors that I wanted to emphasize, which is very, very, very important, is your reputation and the trust that you earn from the market. So I guess those are the few things, but also the other one more little thing, which is localization. If your solution is a customized solution, localization is all good to go. But if your solution is a standard, ready, in the box, 3-in-1, then through different activities and events, you can get your branding out there. So there are definitely work to be done. So be ready for the game. So back to you, Ken.
Sure. Ong-Sin, just now you mentioned about localization. I was just wondering, are you talking about localization in the context of language or function?
More for, in fact, for IT, you don't really quite have to worry about languages. Probably 20 years ago, yeah, there is a consideration of the UX UI, or the certain function needs to be customized to the Thai language. But if you have Unicode, you also don't have to worry. In the context of cyber, everybody do English. So nothing to worry about. Okay.
All right, thank you. You want to
Yeah, I want to add on the localization aspect. So, yeah, language is generally because we are always targeting cybersecurity personnel, so they tend to be quite comfortable with English. But in terms of what we realized, at least my experience, especially in the last few years, is that interestingly, I find that you really need your implementation team basically needs to know Thai because somehow definitely the younger people, interestingly, even though they can speak good English, they just prefer to do get things done in Thai. That's a kind of a bit of a maybe a U-turn if you ask me, but maybe I don't know. It's our experience, but. Maybe the market is big enough to let people survive on their own, just by speaking Thai, even in the tech space. Not to say that they can't speak English, just that they are much more comfortable with Thai. So having local people or partners that can speak Thai really helps. And in terms of functions, again, depends on the space you're in because we are in kind of digital transformation, which has links to identity and so on. Yeah, we do have like today we are SingPass here. You know, they have Thai NDID. So these are local stuff that you need to also build features for, and to them, to definitely the Thai customer is very important. Your commitment to adapt your products out of the box to stuff, other than calling it customization. I mean,
Yeah. I think supporting what Prayesh has just mentioned, C-suite level, most of them can speak English. But then when you move in to do POC, sometimes you need to have local personnel to support you for some of the follow through. Yeah, that is a definite.
Sure, thank you. Any comments on any regarding language?
I think from my personal experience, so it also helps, like I should say, having a very strong connection, having strong partners is relevant. In fact, the ideal optimal way is also to be physically located in Thailand. Yeah, because they really like to see you face to face because more things can be talked about. There'll be more flexibility. If it's just cross border, might be a little bit different. Yeah, so that's why I also based myself out of Bangkok for the very reason.
Interesting. Yeah, I think we touched on quite a few points that mentioned, but I think I'm very curious listening to just now when Fonsi mentioned about relationship and differentiator, citing my own experience. My own one case, maybe I feel big time, then maybe I hear from them why I feel. Okay, so I went to the region side, and Hong Kong is very special. For no time when but I like that because they are very direct. I presented 5 points, right? This not relevant. The other 3, yes, come, let's explore. And then I got the deal. It's very fast. I went to Japan, I have the relationship, I don't know why Thai and Japanese. Wow, quite jalan. Thai till 2 a.m. and tomorrow 7 p.m. they can go to the office. I don't know how they do that. I can't. So we also get a deal. And then we have one from Thailand. Actually, it was introduced by someone quite trusted in a way. Bring me to lavish restaurant, very expensive restaurant. Every time we go there, spend time with us. 1 whole day with us. They bring us places and things. And I went there like 4 or 5 times. They give me all the hospitality, but and there's nothing. So I'm not too sure about this. How would you class this as what is that any mistake I think, or is not enough recognition?
One point I can see is maybe perhaps from a Singaporean perspective, you always think that okay, we are very cautious with our approach. Like I said, 5 famous, right? But the thing is, the Thais are actually generally quite open-minded. If you were to bridge their conversation very directly, overthink them, they might be actually quite receptive to you. Yeah, that's one. Secondly, I think another reason why you might not have had inroads is because you didn't have like direct conversation. You're like, oh, I go with the flow, give me good wines, I just drop a few things, blah, 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 but nothing very substantial.
So they prefer you
to be direct, especially when you're a assistant. I would just tell them straight, hey, I want to come in with this business. This is the point. Let's do
I think they are more subtle.
after a few sessions. I think
Maybe that's a mistake. I always think that
You're talking with partners or customers?
a mix. Yeah, they even bring us to the coffee. And it's really expensive. Hospitality. Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, I'm sorry. That's right. Sorry. Do you have anything else? So I don't know, but our maybe we're lucky. I don't know. We have a quite a positive experience. And talking about dinners, frankly speaking, we find it difficult, and you'll be surprised. Our clients in the banking space sometimes want to pay for their own coffee, even Thailand. They refuse to accept our coffee sometimes. Right? And these are obviously architects and above. So I don't know. I mean, I find it interesting. Or maybe we're just too lucky. No? But I mean, it's a combination. I would say you definitely have patience. So it's a question of, are you prepared to invest that time and energy? It doesn't need to be very expensive stuff, but for us, what worked was we managed to build a connection with the end customers. So they saw something in what we were doing, but like Hong Sing mentioned earlier, you must have something unique about your solution that other people can't, right? So otherwise, every other vendor is there in that market as well. So you need to have your own differentiator. They need to appreciate it. If we started with a very small, probably will reject the deal in normal situation kind of things, but we invested in a particular clients. And the cybersecurity industry is pretty small. We had a very small project with K-Bank, Customer Bank, and that was a long time ago. And it was just a couple of, less than 50K or 20K kind of project. It was a long time ago. But yeah, that kind of was the starting point. We did a good job, and then they saw the value in what we do, and then we had some follow-up, and then so on. So slowly today we have 10 banks in Thailand. It took 15 years, but I mean that you that if you're prepared to invest, you can go a long way. Cybersecurity industry is small, so we have a lot of organic growth. We had good partners. But having said that, we had to cover the customer ourselves. That's the nature of the kind of products that we sell. It doesn't mean it applies to you, but that's relevant for our products. But we had very good local implementation partners. So that also we were lucky to get them on board. So you've got to find the right domain, people with the right domain expertise in terms of implementation. So it's a very boutique system integrator. They are not very big, not very small. You don't have to work with the biggest of the system integrators out there. So I guess it's the whole package, of course, the right product, right time, etc., and so on as well. So I think you just need to try it.
Maybe situational.
Yeah, situational, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Hong Sin, any comments in the same context?
I think if let's say we are talking about things like P4 or even like the conversation like what Parish just mentioned about buying coffee, you need to be, how should I best put the word? Don't just follow based on what you hear say. Typically, if you bring the client out, you decide on where to go. The moment you ask, where would you like to go? Then whatever the client saying, you have to honor, right? Then as to how many people they are going to bring, that is another conversation. So I think setting some clarity with the client is important. And I have to also align with what Parish said that, all my, through my years of experience, whether if it's in the space on cybersecurity, when I run my distribution entity, or when I am running my investment company, or even right now, when come to ASEAN CIO, we don't give wrong impression. Okay, that is extremely key. But if you get out there and start to display flamboyantly and say, hey, I got deep pocket, I'm going to buy you any damn thing, right? Then you are in trouble, right? And also in the conversation of clients, they really test you. Okay, in order for you to earn the trust, Paish mentioned about over 15 years, they have 10 banks in their pockets. And it doesn't come easy. So my conversation to you is know your target audience and don't be desperate. Know your game well. Most of the time, the client in Thailand don't go by feature function. The moment you sell feature function, you are dead because they will start to ask you to draw Excel spreadsheet, make the comparison table. Those are some of the things that I remember when my salespeople get out there to try to make comparison. Then the other thing that I probably want to highlight or share with you all is that knowing somebody and selling to somebody is entirely different. Okay, you can know somebody doesn't mean you can sell to that somebody. So as to how, I let SG Tech bring you over to Thailand first. Then we can talk more about it. Huh? Those who don't come, too bad. You missed it. Okay. So the other key conversation that typically that I mean I have to only say or the case of like my past experience as a distributor is that I deals with SI. I deals with the big telcos. But most of the time, I serve the client directly until when come to some level of closure. Then the partners comes in. So if you are positioned as a technology vendor, you need to carry yourself as you are a technology vendor. Okay. And I think somebody mentioned about partners with SI. You also need to identify because the SI generally can sleep with everybody because at the end of the day, they want to close the deal. And one very key point to also highlight is that be sensitive to the client in terms of their preferred partner. Okay, their preferred partner. So sometimes you bring in a certain partner without knowing who are their preferred partner. You already have one hurdle already. So always qualify whether if they have a preferred partner. Because in banking sectors, telcos, government agency, they have what we call authorized partner. Okay, unless your solution is so special that they make it an exception to allow you to come into their system. So organization like PTT, they do online bidding. Even you have the best solution, online bidding, you either die with the price or you win with the price. Okay. In the conversation of ASEAN CIO, our chapter president is our chapter president for Women in Tech is Kasikorn Bank Executive Chairman, Kun Volanut. And the FSI advisor to ASEAN CIO is actually Bangkok Bank, CISO, Group CISO, and he's also the chair for TB-CERT. So we have a list of other ESCO and chapter president that cut across the region. So we are friends to everybody. Yeah. Okay, so back to you, Ken. If not, I dominate the call.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, so I think we still have time. One last topic for this. We need to take care of the startups. Yeah, so the topic of startups, I just want to check with the panel. Is there even any opportunity for startup venture into Thailand?
from my experience, I'd say startup scene is very vibrant. And barriers to entry is considering the entry part is actually quite low. Yeah, I think that the real question lies in whether this startup will try. That's another conversation.
Startup from Singapore.
Startup from Singapore.
Yeah.
So I think also previous points mentioned, Thai people tend to like foreign things. They're open to new ideas. You have a slight competitive edge over local partners because of our quality. So yes, that gives us a plus point.
Very encouraging.
Yeah, I kind of concur. But again, it's you did. I mean, you have to have some kind of help. Like if you could get into one of the fintech labs, whether from the banks or whatever, or if you have some consultants to help you to bring to them, that really would matter to get you into a real project. Because yeah, there are a lot of proof of concepts that we see happening, but you want to go beyond that, right? So then that particular organization needs to have some vested interest in, getting you to production or getting you to roll out. And we have seen some startups that are from overseas that have actually been implemented in Hong Kong. I mean, we work with them as part of the ecosystem, and I'm surprised that the Thai customers have decided to go for them. Nothing wrong. What I'm saying is that they're risk taking, right? Because not many startups are very successful in their home countries and so on, right? They have at least one or two assignments, and then next overseas project is in Thailand. So that's interesting. It's promising.
So there's a potential.
There's potential.
Right on the larger platform.
Yes, but yeah, I think this is the key. You need to have somebody to help you. I don't think you go independently. I'm not very sure, but unless you are groundbreaking, it might be very challenging. Bearing in mind that if you understand the ecosystem there, like Kenny might know better, but a lot of banks have their IT arms, right? KBank has KPTG, SCB has. If you look at their website and reports, they have DataX, TaxX, etc., and so on. So they are behaving like IT companies themselves, the banks. So you're also competing sometimes with their subsidiaries, right? But you can also work with them because they also need, they can be a go-to-market sometimes.
Sure. Thanks. What about startup opportunities for them?
Okay. Yep. Sorry, I need to unmute my microphone. Okay, so I mentioned that I raise funds, right? So that's my full-time job. ACLA is a voluntary role. I don't get paid for ACLA. So for startup conversation, it is very noisy. What I meant by noisy is everywhere, anywhere can have startup events, networking night. A lot of activities is going on in Thailand. Okay. Generally, if you talk about cybersecurity startup, in fact, as y'all were talking, I was just thinking along the line that maybe, SG Tech can set up some kind of a distribution arm. Feedback, suggestion only. Okay, people don't get excited. So SG Tech, maybe when they set up the distribution arm for all the incubated startups, we can move the startups from region to region. And that will be something that ACLA, ASEAN CIO is interested to see how to play this game. Just to also share that when I had my meeting with the National Cybersecurity Agency just a week before GulfWare, they actually have their research. They also have some IPs. They also have universities. They go to universities and give feedback to universities and say, there is nothing like this in the market. And therefore, they have came to us and say whether they can feature or showcase what they have in their research lab to ASEAN and see whether anybody in ASEAN want to take part of their research and plug into the system or plug into the full or their product line. So nonetheless, look out for them on our 9 ASEAN CIO Forum, which is going to happen in Singapore in September next year. So while you are thinking about going, right, they are thinking about coming. So I think there is a good match. Startup has always been very exciting. But again, I think when you talk about the grants, the funds, the support from government, sorry guys, if you're not Thai-owned company, don't dream of touching those money. Okay? If you are partnering with somebody that is local, and you can attempt grants like TED Fund, which is 500,000 Thai baht, all the way to $1 million. That one, no equity taken. Another one by NIA, National Innovation Agency. That one also require Thai company. And that one, the range of scale for Thai baht, 500,000 also, but up to 1.5, if I'm not wrong, up to 1.5 million Thai baht. Then there's another one more agency, which is under the Ministry of Digital Economy. That one, the ticket size is bigger, but they do convertible notes, which is 1 million all the way to 50 million Thai baht. Okay, so to know where you want to play, like I say, please try to get your case study well done in Singapore before you start to think of or unless you start off, like for example, Thai startups want to go to Singapore, or Thai startups want to go to Korea, or Thai startups want to go anywhere in ASEAN. So similarly, your solution needs to be clear in terms of where is that target market. Okay? So startup is exciting, but at the same time, you must know when you are going to raise funds. Okay? I shall stop here because I got a lot of things to say about startups. Yeah.
Dominate again. Just anything. Okay, thanks a lot, Onsin. So we will take a cue. Okay, it's a TA collaboration. Set us up platform that is possible. So I think I check my boss's response. Okay. So I think time is also I think we open the door for question. All the experts are here.
Yeah, it's based on. I think first thing first, hi, don't see. Long time no see. What is, maybe 2 questions. What is the level of adoption for JPI in Thailand? And second thing, perhaps, relation to the enforcement point, I think both of us in the which about EPA, Cybersecurity Act, what's it? Caution us about enforcement. So, are you aware of any enforced cases of PPA which have gone into force in Thailand or even Cybersecurity Act? Reason why I brought up this second question is when you compare Singapore and Malaysia can't act earlier than us. They have less than 5 cases.
Umar, the question is directed to me.
Over to all, right? So,
Okay.
in Singapore, we have close to 300 divisions, both enforcement and undertakings. So, best to all the panelists. First question is about JDI. Second question is about enforcement.
I think the conversation on PDPA, Computer Misuse Acts, like for example, the banks need to submit a certain logs to regulators. These are things that are no longer new. If you're in cyber and if you're unaware.
Are you aware of any enforcement by the government?
Cases.
cases of enforcement? Yeah.
From my knowledge, not really.
Okay.
Yeah, usually enforcement cases will come when something goes up like that. But that's on the more macro level. So maybe since you're in the field, have you come across anything?
No, I mean, I would say that, okay, does regulation necessarily drive business? I would say not always. A lot of things that we do is beyond just because it's required, but it's also trying to work with the business to build some business case or with the CISOs by educating customers about best practices and other stuff based on what's happening in other markets. And frankly speaking, that helps a lot to a certain extent. Of course, I'm talking about things that's done on the back end and the cybersecurity. If it's something that affects the customer experience, then it's a different thing by itself. But I think constantly educating customers about what we are doing in other countries and what regulators in other countries are asking for, in addition to what BOT, in our case, Bank of Thailand, there's a regulator like equivalent to, and that we need a combined approach, and sometimes we need to really educate them as well. And again, I think it needs patience. It's not like 3 to 6 months you can get things done.
How about JPI function?
You're agreeing?
JPI.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm not expert in that space, but yeah, I mean, we have some. Next week we have some events, so yeah, that's about speak about AI. So hopefully I get some better ideas.
Okay. Are you aware? Sticking all like what you're saying here.
Not that well now.
Hosting any
Level.
oh, level. Oh, connection. Okay. Okay. Oh, coming back. I think meanwhile, any more question, maybe we can come back.
So do we have any other questions from all of you? Feel free to just maybe just voice your thoughts. Anything that maybe captured your attention. What is your takeaway from this particular session?
So based on the similar question, so other than regulatory compliance to sell cybersecurity solutions to the customer, if there's a regulation and so on, should at least take a look at it. I mean, how do you sell other type of cybersecurity solution that may not be really in the compliance space to the customers? I mean, say for instance, you are in the identity management, it's not really compliance that you need to do identity management, but it's more like how to convince the users that that is something that they should invest in order to, make their business more successful and so on. How do you go about that?
I mean, we have like there's something in Singapore that's required, for example, for the login process.
Okay.
Or end-to-end encryption of the passwords, for example. Okay. So it's it's a very technical space, and there is no regulatory requirement in BOT.
Okay.
But we took it upon ourselves to go and educate clients, educate the CISOs.
Okay.
We kept on trying our best to, at every opportunity, trying to say that, look, you're doing this project, let's try to push this in, and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And it worked somewhere. We got a crack. We have one of those 3 big banks. One of them actually said, okay, the CIO said, okay, you're like, I'm a bit tired of you pushing the same thing. Let's just do it. Okay. So that crack opened up to other opportunities. Okay. And then we went to the bank and said, look, this bank is doing this, and there's no harm because what we're doing is the best practice, which Hong Kong and Singapore has adopted. And this bank is already doing it. So the second one came on board. And then the third, fourth, fifth is obviously here. So and that's sometimes if you have something that's unique, you have to create the market yourself.
Yeah.
You can't depend on other people to do it. And we had no connection to BOT, etc. and so on.
Okay.
We had never presented to them that solution. Today we have some connections, but this was done before that.
Okay.
So Honestly, just now you were offline. There was a question about Gen AI adoption in Thailand. Do you have any comments about it?
AI adoption, right?
AI.
Gen AI, yes.
Gen AI or Gen AI and cybersecurity?
Cybersecurity.
Just general Gen AI, yeah.
Okay. Okay, Gen AI itself is a topic that cut across all the, I like to say the top tier ASEAN region. As to how many actually really deploy and apply Gen AI into their operation or into certain projects, they are taking pace. And also right now there is no, there's a lot of excitement. Let me just put it this way. There's a lot of excitement. And I think Paish also mentioned about know the clients, to give what the clients need, than to sell what you want to sell. So for Gen AI, a lot of excitement, really. So different industries are all trying to get into the space. And also have in mind, when it comes to Gen AI, it can play in hospitality, it can play in the typical healthcare industry, it can play in banking is all over the place, as in like for Gen AI, you can see bankers playing different conversation. As far as regulators are concerned, particularly, since we touch on this, Thailand is adopting or working together with UNESCO AI framework. Okay. And this is actually under one of our close working partner like ETDA. And with ETDA, there are few of these people has actually been talking to ASEAN CIO. Next year, I think in June, if I did not remember the date wrongly, there is a huge event by UN together with Thai government, all about AI, the conversation on AI UNESCO framework. So go check it out on the website if you want to know more about it. So context on Gen AI, find the right fit, find the right customers. Yeah. So you can't do one size for all. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Just customer oriented.
You need to, for the first few cases, I mean, particularly for our Singapore startup, I really would recommend that they really need to profile the clients that they want to go after. And then from the profile, then they have to either reach out through SG Tech or ESG or certain organization to actually get in route into those clients. Yeah. So there are work to be done. I must definitely say that being out of Singapore for more than a decade, staying here, and also being in Thailand or entering Thailand in my years since 2005, is a very vibrant, very colorful place. But when it comes to business, you can have many friends, everybody friends. But like I say, having friend and having a customer is entirely different. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for the wisdom. Yeah. I think in the interest of time, there, right? So let's wrap up the session. And yeah, I'll handing over to Andrew. Big thanks to the plenary. Yeah.
Okay, everyone, let's give a round of applause.
Sorry, can I say something to the audience?
Okay.
Okay, so reach out to me through LinkedIn. And then, I'm more than happy to get to know what you are trying to do if you want to talk. But also be a member of ASEAN CIO Association. But again, I want to say that for ASEAN CIO, we serve only C-suite. So for vendor, you have to pay to enter, but we work with SG Tech. Okay. In Thailand, a similar entity to SG Tech is Digital Council Thailand. So Digital Council Thailand is having an MOU with us. So under that organization, there are 25 other ICT associations. So a lot of them wanted to get to know the pool of C-suite that we serve. Yeah.
Sure, thanks. So in a nutshell,
Okay.
in Singapore, so Tech. Okay, thank you.
So once again, thank you so much for a wonderful range of presenters with wonderful insights. Thank you to our speakers. With that, I think we found this session really insightful. I think, in fact, personally for me, some words that really came out were when it comes to localization. Again, coming in with a trusted partner is very essential. And this is something that we are endeavoring to provide to you if you are to come on board our cybersecurity business mission to Thailand, with Kenny as a wonderful consultant and partner with us on this. I also heard things like ultimately building trust, being direct, understanding their culture, coming in. These are all parts of the wonderful end-to-end GTM strategies that we also are endeavoring to be able to work with you more closely developing as you deepen your presence and outreach to your own end users within Thailand. So with that, I think, thank you so much to our wonderful panelists. Yeah. Maybe you have to take a seat since we're coming to the end as your church. Yes,
Thomas, so I can exit now.
maybe we'll take a group photo.
Oh, how can I be in the picture? Photoshop me in.
I don't know, you nicely probably move the TV or closer to the screen.
Never mind, just Photoshop me in.
I'll just cover about 1 or 2 slides and we'll take a nice group photo together.
Okay.
So I think one thing that I really want to rally your attention again as an audience is that we've done this cybersecurity seminar really to value add you first and foremost. I think it's important for us to come together to discuss, learn a bit more about the markets, especially because you are the ones working within your own organizations to target these markets, right? And we want to value add that. But more importantly, we have a request. And our request is that we are crafting and we are organizing a cybersecurity business mission to Thailand, specifically bringing our cybersecurity companies to the CyberSec Asia 2025 exhibition. This again is a partnership between SG Tech and Cyber SG TIG Collaboration Center, happening 20 to 24 January 2025. That said, registrations are actually closing by the end of this month. And we strongly urge you to come on board if you already have not done so and join us in this experience. And what we are doing are actually some of the things that we covered earlier in the panel. And in fact, I'm very glad that some of these points were brought up. So we talk about qualified leads, right? We talk about coming together, giving you the access and the reach to the partners, to the end users, to the kind of entities that you believe will be the best for your own organization. Our consultant here, Kenny, is more than happy to work with you on that. And more importantly, to also craft your own end-to-end go-to-market strategy within the Thai market space so that you don't only go for those that you want to go for, but also those that you need to be able to truly thrive and work to mitigate the kind of challenges that were spoken about within this seminar that we had just now. And more importantly, also to come together as one big SG Tech pavilion to be able to exhibit your particular solutions and bringing your cyber strategy global. Now, why I say that? One of the points that was brought up earlier as well was that if you want to go alone, maybe it's very difficult unless you have a groundbreaking product. As much as everyone's product is wonderful in their own ways, why not go together as one large Singapore presence? Some of you have joined us in this journey previously, and we welcome those who haven't joined us yet to come on and join us in this business mission and see the magic happen for yourselves. So maybe you can just scan your QR code, scan this QR code here to learn a bit more about the business mission, how we are doing it, what we want to do, and more importantly, the value that you are going to get tangibly as we embark on this journey together. So has everyone scanned already at the back? Okay. At the same time, so to understand more about SG Tech, what we are doing, how we are doing, all of the different areas in which we are serving our almost 1,400 tech families strong. Our social medias are always updated with our latest information on things like industry research, how we are also pushing for such collaborations as well. So my request again is to follow us, our social media pages here. Maybe you can just take a photo, then you can follow up accordingly. And more importantly, to also support our partners, cyber. Should I go to the previous one? Okay. And then, of course, to also support our partners, Cyber SG, TIG Collaboration Center. Nothing, I mean, no man is an island. None of us can do everything, but everyone can do something. And together, we have come together to create this value for each and every one of you. So we strongly hope that you will come on board with us to explore this journey and deepen your experience, your gateway, your solutions within this gateway of Thailand. So with that, I'm Raj, I've been your MC. Thank you very much. Now, maybe we'll take a group photo together. Rayson, maybe you can advise us which is the best